Hi there, Year 12s. In this video we're going to look at square root graphs, and in particular we're going to be looking at how we can use graphing software, so in your case your graphics calculator, to draw this graph. So this is a square root graph, and we're going to use graphs mode. So putting in this graph, we've got 3 minus square root, and it will put the stuff inside the square root in brackets so it knows to square root it all. So that's x plus 4. And then we'll just have a look at what it looks like. So there's what a graph looks like, but as I've said in class, that's not particularly useful. We want to be able to plot this on a graph. So what we're going to do is go into our table mode, and we can see that our equation is already in there, and we'll set our table to start. We'll start at -4, see what that does, and we'll go to about 5, going up in ones. Now you might have noticed on our graph that it seemed to sort of start in mid-air, so let's just see what would happen here if I go back to as far as -5. So you can see that if we go as far back as -5, we'll get an error, and of course it kind of makes sense because when we look under our square root here, we've got x plus 4. So if we went bigger or smaller than -4, we're going into the negatives. We can't have a negative square root, so actually 4 is our first possible value. So at -4, our value is 3. So there's our first point. And then going down, we've got -3, 2. I've actually put them in the wrong spot, so that is my first point. So at -3, we're at +2, -2, just over 1.5. And then a bit below a half, and then at -1, and about 3/4, and about a half. You can see it keeps on going down. I might just make my next point that 0 there, and we'll just get one more there, so I'll make it finish at 6. Okay, so our last point is just a little bit underneath there. Okay, once you've got those points, you just sketch them in, like you do with any curve, just very carefully, trying to get through as many of those points as closely as possible. Okay, there we go. So we need to make sure with this graph that we have a very definite end at -4, because it doesn't go beyond there. But down the other end, where I've made a little bit of a mistake there, we should show that it goes on forever. So just go a bit further past your last point and put that arrow in to show that it goes on forever past there. Okay, now there's 2 other things that I want to talk about very quickly, and that's domain and range. So domain is the set of values that you can put into the function, so those are x values. So for this function here, if we were talking about the domain would be any x value that is larger than or equal to -4, because anything smaller than -4 doesn't give us an answer. And then the range is all the possible results, so that's our possible y values. So here our range, you can see that it starts at 3, so our range for this graph would be y has to be smaller than or equal to 3. Okay, so that's domain and range. It can pop up, but for a lot of the graphs we look at, the domain and the range are infinite, but not all of them, like this one here. So I'd like you to go into exercise 4.05 to practice plotting some of these square root graphs. Thank you.